Good afternoon, Year 6. Good afternoon, mums and dads. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for Meet the Tutor. I'm going to pass straight over to Mr. McKinnon, who will be your tutor in September. So, Mr. McKinnon, over to you. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So, hi guys. Really excited to kind of formally meet you for the first time, even though it's online. As was just mentioned, I am Mr. McKinnon. So I am a PE teacher, and I'm really excited to be your 7N tutor. It's going to be such a nice privilege to have a tutor group for the first time and get to know all of you on a one-to-one level and make sure that I'm there for you every day, every morning, first face you kind of see, so I can support you in the best way possible to make that transition to Wangels and secondary school as smooth as possible. So just a little bit about myself. Like I said earlier, I'm a PE teacher, and this is my first year at Wangels College. I grew up in Asia and moved to England in year 7. And during year 7, due to moving house, I went to 3 secondary schools. So I'm used to transitions and new environments. So hopefully I can help you and make sure that you're not as, nervous or anxious, and make sure that we're in the best position possible to kind of get involved straight into Wangels. And it's okay sometimes to ask the questions, and we're going to get lost. You're not going to go where you're going, but we're going to work together as a tutor group, and your tutees and everyone else will support you as best as possible. And it might be scary for a few of you, but I've been to 3 schools, and it's going to be new for everyone. It's new to me, and thankfully I've been here for the last 2 weeks, kind of getting to know the school, and I can try my best to support all of you when you first move over. So football is my main sport, and I support Aberdeen. It's a team in Scotland. You might not know who they are, but my family are all from Scotland. As I grew up in Asia, I moved to England. I have an English accent, but I am Scottish. But even though I'm into sport and a PE teacher, I'm interested in all the hobbies that you do, whether that's reading, anything different like cycling with family, stitching, knitting, anything that you do that you like, I'm keen to hear. So I think it's super important, not just for, having something to do, but for your mental health and for creating hobbies and friends. Anything that you can do that's outside school, I'm interested in. So I can't wait to hear everything that you guys like to do and what you get on with. During lockdown, I am quite a keen runner. It's not everyone's thing, but I started to run 5,000 meters a day for 121 days to raise money for the mental health charity. So just a little overview of who I am, what I'm like. As I mentioned, I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you on a one-to-one level, because everyone will come with different interests, different personalities, different characteristics, and that's what makes 7N the best tutor group in year 7. So you might have been told quite a lot of this information before, but I'm going to go through it again. So we are very strong on Wangels Ready. We really want to make sure that every student, no matter what year group, what tutor group, you are in the best position possible to get to school and to be at school. So that means that we're prepared to learn. So you've got the right kit, you've got your pencil case, you've got the correct books. As a PE teacher, you've got the right kit with you, you've got your boots, you've got your socks. And it's really important that we're in the right position to learn, because if we're organised and ready, we're in the best mind space to get the best results for you. Because if you're not organised already, that might be a bad start or a slower start to the lesson, and it's always about being sure that you're ready to go straight away. The next point to move on to is making sure that you're proud of your achievements, efforts and successes. At Wangels, we believe that better never stops, and it's really important to have that mindset where you might get it wrong. Everyone gets something wrong, but it's making sure that you acknowledge when you're successful and whatever success that is for you, but we also make sure that we're proud of the effort we put in. And if we can do those 2 first things, we will be a very positive member of the Wangels community. We want to make sure that everyone at the school leads to positive success or contribution in any field possible. So if you want to be academic, or you've got baking skills, or you're an athlete, everything that you do, no matter if you like it or not, we learn to be and put the best effort towards that, which then creates that positive contribution. You respect yourself firstly, and that's really important, is to make sure that you understand your respect for yourself and that you have that level of, this is what I expect from myself and people. But you have to make sure that even if people respect you, you have to respect others, because it's really important as a tutor group that I want to make sure that everyone is pushing everyone to drive and learn and grow, because it creates the best tutor group environment. If the tutor group don't get along, it's okay. You understand that sometimes people won't get on, but we still show respect, because that means that everyone's on the same level, everyone's working together to make sure that we have the smoothest transition and the greatest years together. Talking about the mindset earlier, that's going to help you build strong resilience. Resilience is making sure that even though you might not get it first time or second time or even the third time, you keep remaining focused and on task, because your teachers will reward you for that resilience. It's one of our values to make sure that students work hard. Sometimes, we don't get it right, and that's fine. But it's the character to build on and make that, break through that wall and keep going. And you'll get a lot of achievement points and credit from myself and other teachers if you can show that resilience. And the final point is making sure that you're responsible for speaking and acting in a kind way. It's really important that we come to school and we make sure that we are kind, polite, we say the right things. So if you don't quite hear someone, rather than saying what or huh, we use pardon or excuse me, say it again. And it's just making sure that you show the same respect that you would want for yourself to other people. And I understand that quite a lot of you would want people to gain your respect, and that's okay. But those are the kind of key things that are really basic and will help that transition and help you feel more comfortable and will help to that successful start at Wangels. Moving on to the uniform, we have obviously grey blazers and white shirts and black trousers or skirts. We also have a shorts option, and I'm hoping that quite a lot of the parents or guardians have already bought the uniform or are in the process of buying them. Shoes, again, are black and they must be polishable. But it's a very simple uniform, and obviously when the weather gets hotter, you can, so for instance, today in the last weeks or so, blazers are not accepted, or we don't need them, but it's important that we have a blazer, shirt, trousers, the right socks and shoes. Jumpers can also be bought, but they're not essential. We are also a no phone school, so you can bring your phone into school with you, but as soon as you walk through the gates, it should be in your bag, and it shouldn't be out at all. So in lessons, it shouldn't be out. At social time, break and lunch, it shouldn't be out. It should only be out when you need it at the end of the day to sort transport from parents or to let them know you're walking home. The reason we do this is to make sure that, one, you're sociable and there's disruption-free learning. So there's no one, sneakily going on their phone, and you're doing the best learning you can. But also socially, when we have break and lunch, is to make sure that we don't just sit down on our phones all day. We have those half an hours to actually do something fun and talk to your friends. And we found, or the school have found, a huge transition from the going on to no phone policy and making sure there's disruption-free learning, because we want to make sure that you're in the best position possible to have the greatest learning occurring. So your first day as a year 7 will be Monday, the 5th of September. You will arrive at 8:40 and you will meet me in the quad. So the quad is the central part next to all the different colour buildings. So you've got the community, green, yellow and red. I will be in the middle of there with a huge sign screaming 7N's the best, and you'll all hopefully hear me and walk over and we'll line up. I will then walk us to your new tutor room. Unfortunately, I don't know where that is yet, but you will have plenty of time beforehand and you'll find that out before we start. We will have an assembly after we go to the new tutor room. We'll walk to the main hall, and Mrs. Humber, the principal, and Mr. Reynolds, your head of year, will be there to give you the assembly. After that, we will do a tour of the school. We'll set a Wangels treasure hunt challenge, and it will send you to every corner of the school, every area that you not have been to before. And it's just a nice way to kind of get to know the school. So when you start using your timetable, you a bit more comfortable and confident in where you're going. The really good thing is that all the buildings are very similar. They're just different colours and different subjects. So when you do get your timetable, it might say G0102. And that means it's in the green building on the ground floor, and then the building number. If it's G1, it's on the second floor. So you've got to go up the steps and you'll find it. But again, when you enter any building at the start, or at the entrance, sorry, there will be like a laminated poster, and it will tell you where the rooms are. But that treasure hunt should act as a way of you getting to know the school a lot better. After the treasure hunt, as I mentioned, timetables will be issued and lockers will be mentioned. We will do uniform and equipment check to make sure that you are prepared to learn. As mentioned before, it's super important that you are ready, you're in the right mindset, you know exactly what you have, and that you are showing to be a good role model for the school. You will then have a one-to-one check-in with me. So everyone will be allocated the time to have a conversation with me, and that can be when you tell me some of your worries or what you're excited for, and just getting to know me, and I get to know you on a better level. And that'll be a really personal chat to get to know, again, yourselves, and anything that you have any worries or excited for, we can have that little quick discussion. We will then walk over to the canteen to do your biometrics. So we will scan all your fingers. Because we are cashless at Wangels, we have a parent pay system where your parents or guardians will put money onto your account. And when you go into school, when you get your food at break or lunch, you just scan your finger at the end and it will come off your account. And we've tried to do that so obviously you don't have to bring money into school that might go missing. And then after we do that, we'll do some fun icebreakers and activities, because it might be the first time you've met some people in your tutor group. And hopefully there will be some people in your tutor group that you might know from primary school, but hopefully there's also a chance to meet some new people and make some new friends, and that can be daunting. And that's why we have time for icebreakers and activities to make sure that we can all get to each other's names and have that social time. You would then leave school at 3 p.m. It's also really important to know that I will be with you for your whole first day. So I will be there to make sure that you have that smooth transition and we get to know each other very well. On the Tuesday, again, you will arrive at 8:40 and you'll go straight to your tutor room. So I will be in the tutor room and you should hopefully remember where it is, and you'll make your way there. You will then obviously be allocated your timetables, planners and your lockers again, and we'll check through them and understand again. We'll go through a bit more detail about how your timetables work, because it might be very new, or it is very new, where you're not in the same class every lesson. So that will be a strange transition, but I think that you'll get to love that, because you'll get taught by experts in the subjects and you'll have the chance to walk around the school, and you'll be in different classes. So you won't be with the same class every time. You will be grouped randomly or grouped within your half of the year, and you'll get to meet again loads of new people. On the Tuesday, we ask that you begin to bring in your Wangels passport entries. I will talk about that in a bit, so just hold on any questions for that. There's a PowerPoint slide to explain that. We'll do some more icebreakers and activities, and again, we will have some more individual check-ins with me to make sure that you're happy. If there's anything I can do to help, then you can let me know. And then you would begin the school day following your timetable. And again, school would finish at 3 p.m. So as I mentioned, the Wangels passport. So over the summer holidays, which I hope you're all excited for because you all deserve a break, we would love for you to complete some of the activities from our passport. So there's loads of choices. You can pick 1, 2, 3, or as many as you want. It's your choice. So the project is due on the Friday, the 9th of September, but we would love for you to start bringing your work in on that Tuesday so we can start displaying it in the tutor room on our first and second days. All entries will be put into a raffle to win prizes. So just if you can't read it, some of the things that we can do is that you can have an art challenge. So there's some options to draw, create some pieces of artwork. So some say making a collage out of recycled materials, draw a picture of what you look like in your uniform. So that's if you're artistic or want to give your creative side a little practice. We will then have a summer reading challenge. So there will be some books that we recommend that you guys might like or read, and we would want you to try and just read some of those books over summer, and you can kind of tick the ones off you've completed. We then also have 4 values at Wangels, which you might not know or do know. And those 4 values are pride, respect, resilience, and kindness. And each of those values will have like a tick sheet below. So for pride, it says climb a mountain, learn a new dance move, learn a new skill, look after your environment, and there'll be other options. But we just challenge you to just do as much as you want to. You might just do one, you might do all of them, but it's something for you to kind of get ready, and you can then show off what you've done when we come back into school in September. And like I said, those people who do entries will have a chance to win some prizes. Obviously, I'm really excited to meet all of you in September, and hopefully you're the same. There will be some nerves and there'll be some, strange transitions, but I'm in place to be that friendly face that you see every morning. And I'm going to try my best to make sure that we all have the best transition to secondary school, and we're all in a very supportive system to make sure that we have the best start possible. You now have a chance, kids, parents, guardians, to ask some questions. Please use the Q&A box, and just a gentle, polite reminder that we cannot answer any personal questions, nor can we tell you the names of other students in the tutor group. I will set some time aside so that you can start presenting some questions, and hopefully I can answer them to the best of my ability. There is a slight delay, so as I wait for some questions to come in, I'm going to try and boast about PE and talk about PE a little bit more, just if that interests anyone. So being a PE teacher, obviously to me, the biggest thing is effort again. And that's really nice that the school have the same kind of motto in making sure that effort is rewarded as much as success, because everyone's success is different, but everyone can put in hard work. So for PE, we do 2 subjects or 2 sports a half term, and we would have 6 to 7 lessons per subject or per sport. We like to do our lessons with lots of gameplay. So you would be playing the sport and there'll be challenges and conditions to make sure that you're in the best position to learn the sport. The PE kit is a navy t-shirt, navy shorts, and then we have long navy socks for rugby, football, hockey, and then we'd ask for you to wear plain white socks. They can be branded, but it doesn't really matter. But white socks that are above the ankle, and they're for any other sport that isn't the ones I mentioned. But again, the first 2 weeks we expect there to be some issues, but we can try and work together and make sure that we get it right, and we can help you with that. There's also jumpers you can buy. They're not essential or mandatory, but when it gets a bit colder, it's important. And there is also an essential rugby top, which would be really useful to have again when we do some sports outdoors during the colder months. But again, please do ask any questions, and I will read them out and answer them as we go ahead. So questions come through saying, when will the children be put into sets for maths? That is a strong question. I can
answer that one for you, sir, if you want.
Thank you.
Yeah, so maths will be the first subject that that all students go into sets in, and we'll be looking to do that as soon as possible. So it'll be in the first half term.
Thank you. Yeah, any questions you guys can think of, please do ask. There's no such thing as a silly question, and it's nice that we can kind of put some nerves or answer some questions to make you feel better. Hi, what footwear do we need to buy ready for September for PE? Thank you. So we would ask that you would have a pair of trainers so that you can do most of the activities, and then also because we've got a brand new 4G, we would ask if you can buy some cheap boots that are studded but are plastic studded, because we cannot, you can't go on the 4G without those plastic studs. But yeah, a pair of trainers and a pair of plastic studded football boots that can be quite cheap. So I bought a pair the other day that were 20 quid, but those are the 2 main pieces of footwear that we would recommend. Hopefully that answers your question. Just as I remembered, there is a community system at the school. So Mr. Quartermain, actually the head of PE, him and a few other members of staff created a new community system. So that's your house system. So they are names of trees, and there are 6 communities, and you will be placed into a community when you join the school. If you have an older sibling, older sibling, you can probably guess which community you'll be in because you'll be in the same as them. But the community system is in place to support and create friendly competition, and you are challenged in all aspects of school. So you'll get points. We just had a sports festival where students were winning points for their community, but there's also bake competitions, there's maths, English, science. Every subject will have elements of competition for their community. So you'll win points for your community and communities will win trophies, but as well as a tutor group, my aim is to try and make sure that we're in the best position possible as well to get achievement points, because we'll be competing against other tutors. I've had another question through, and is it still split Wayne and gels for lessons? I might need some help with that question. I think it is, as they'll be in different halves of the year. So each tutor will be tutor 7, W-A-I-N-S, and then, W-A-I-N, and then G-E-L-S. And I think that, to answer your question, I believe that's how they split, and that's the halves of the year group. So you will be in classes with those other half of the year. School sport commence. So we like to try and get the students in and get them ready for PE and give them a chance to kind of embed themselves and learn the sports and learn, and kind of see what they want to do. Normally, this changes because of fixtures, but normally within the first 3 weeks, potentially, school sport will happen after school, and the fixtures will come out for school sport, and then extracurricular, they should come in early September, so you guys can start thinking about what activities you want to do. And they're not the extracurricular isn't just sport. There are subjects that have clubs. There's like dance. There's loads of options again, but they should be released before you start in September, so you can sit down with your parents and guardians and you can kind of decide what you'd be interested in. So another question I've been given is, can we get the PE top where we buy online the blazer? I'm not sure of that question, unfortunately. I'd have to double check that and get back to you. I'm sorry that's not the most supportive answer at the moment. I think it should be on the same website. If not, on the Wangels website, there should be a link from the PE department of how you can get the kit, but I think it should be the same website. Phones typically aren't used in subjects. What will happen is the teacher might have the laptops. We've got loads of laptops that the teacher can get, and that's when they would use their devices. So we try not to get phones used during lessons, but laptops will be provided so they can have that interactive element to lessons. Is there a gym club? That's a really good question. There is a health-related fitness club, so that will be utilising the gym. So hopefully, I'm not sure if you can see behind me, but we've got a very, very high-spec gym, and that will be part of the gym club. So you'll be able to sign up to the health-related fitness club, and you will be doing lots of fitness-related stuff and learning how to use the gym, how to use that safely. So, new question come through is, how long have I been at Wangels? Do you have any concerns as a new tutor, and how can we help you help the kids? So, really good question. So, I will be starting officially in September, so I'll be very new, but I have been in school for the last 2.5 weeks, getting used to the surroundings and getting used to the department and getting used to the school systems. My concerns as a new tutor, they're not really strong. It's my aim is to try and get as productive and supportive as quick as possible, and having lots of contact with parents, so that I can be as supportive as possible, and having that clear communication really early on, I think is the best position for me and for you as parents and guardians to feel supported, and for the kids to feel like they've got the best support necessary. I'm also very lucky that in my PE department we have 2 other Year 7 tutors who can support me, and the head of year is in a strong position as well to make sure that I'm ready. But like I said, lots of communication with you guys as parents, guardians and tutees, I think will be the best position for me and for you guys, so that we have that strong start. Another question here, so it's a response to the first one. Is it still split Wayne and gels for lessons? And it's not mixed in tutors now. That's a really strong question. Again, I'm going to need the head of year's support with that one, just as he's a bit more knowledgeable about that. A question about ties. No, ties are not required. I think a couple of years ago, ties used to be quite an issue for forgetting them or wearing them at the wrong length, or just behaviour issues, and the school decided that ties were not necessary and ties will not be worn. Is the best way to contact me via email for any questions we have, or is it through the head of year? So I would be your first point of contact, and if it needs to be raised to the head of year, then I would then raise that and get back in contact with you, or the head of year would be in contact. But for the majority of questions that you have would come through me, or they would go through your subject teachers. But yeah, I would be the best point of contact, and like I said, I can then support or ask for help further on. A question's come in to support me. It says sport clothes on a separate website as smart uniform. Another question here, is there any free time at Wangels? So students will have their break and lunch. So they'll have their school day should be tutor from 8:40 to 9. They will then have period 1, which is 9 till 10, period 2, 10 to 11. They will then have a half-an-hour break. So from 11 to 11:30, they will then have PE, They will then have period 3, which is 11:30 till 12:30. They'll have a half-an-hour lunch, which ends at 1, and then 1 to 2 will be period 4, and 2 to 3 will be period 5. My email.
Can I just add to that, sir, just to let you know. So part of our transition, just to give our year 7s the opportunity to kind of get used to the canteen and things like that, we actually give them a slightly longer lunch for the first term. So they'll have a 40-minute break in the afternoon to give them that little bit of extra time to have the canteen to themselves. Perfect.
Can I ask for another bit of help for your questioning as well, please?
Yeah.
The question earlier says, is it still split WAIN/GELS for lessons?
So tutor groups, in each tutor group there is a mixture of WAINs and GELS students, okay, and then some subjects, most subjects are then made up of WAINs or GELS students. So depending on which side of the year that student is on, kind of depends on which classes they go into. So we have WAINs and GELS classes, but tutor groups are mixed.
Cool, thank you. Sorry, there's quite a few comments about my best way to contact me. Apologies that I wasn't clear. So my email address is macmk@wangels.wokingham.sch.uk. So I'll say it one more time just in case you missed it. It's macmk and then @wangels.wokingham.sch.uk. And that is my email address and for the best way for you to contact me directly.
That will be sent out in September as well to all parents. So we've got a question there about smartwatches. Generally, the answer is no. We don't use smartwatches purely because of their connectivity to phones and the fact that they function through a phone. So we do ask that smartwatches are not worn. It is also important to remember that the national exam boards do not allow smartwatches anywhere near any kind of examination. So we try to instill that from the very start.
And to add to that in PE as well, is as soon as there's any contact in the sport, we'd ask for the students to take their watches off, just so there's no safety or health hazards. So yeah, watches would also be taken off in the majority of sports we teach. So another question come back from the WAIN and GELS situation. So I believe that, as head of year said, that within the tutor group there will be a mix of students who are in the WAIN and GELS groups, and that they would mix with other groups, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm not being super clear.
So tutor groups are mixed WAINs and GELS.
Yeah.
And classes will be WAINs or GELS.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully that answers your question. Oh, so rules for PE and ear piercings is if they cannot be removed, they should be taped. But to follow the school policy, there should be a a simple stud at the bottom, and that should really be it. But again, if it's been newly pierced, then we ask that you have to tape it up, and we would ask for you to bring your own tape in so that you can do that and we can support. But if you can take it out, then all jewelry should be removed before PE. So detention. So a few of the detention options will be if you are late to lessons. So if you're 2 minutes late to a lesson, you may be held back for 2 minutes with the teacher. But all of our detentions now are centralised, and they are held after school or at break and lunch. At lunch or break in the main hall, and parents will be given an email to let them know that students are set after school detentions. But yeah, that's the systems that we have. So there's a few options. Like I said, if you're late to a lesson, you will be held back for how many minutes you were late at your break or lunch. So if you're late 3 minutes, you would be held for 3 minutes. But again, if you are get detention for something else and it's your third time potentially, then you would get a half an hour detention after school.
Can I just point out that with our behaviour policy, the detentions are always a last opportunity. Our behaviour policy at Wangels is designed to give students the opportunity to make the right decisions and address the behaviour themselves. So we have a system of warnings, and where we have the first warning, the second warning. If we get to the third warning, generally that will be recorded as a behaviour point, and then if we get to the third or fourth warning, then it may be escalated to a detention. But generally, students are given the opportunity to correct their behaviour before we get that far. And certainly with our year sevens, we're very proud that a lot of our year sevens do not get that far along our behaviour policy. Is that all of your questions, Mr. McKinnon?
Yeah, that's all the ones that I can currently see.
Yeah, well, I think it's gone 4:30 now, so I'm going to say thank you very much, Mr. McKinnon, and thank you very much to all of you, Year 6 and your parents, for coming along this afternoon to hear Mr. McKinnon speak and meet him for the first time. From myself, can I just say that we are really looking forward to welcoming you to Wangels on a permanent basis in September. So in the meantime, please enjoy your last few days at primary school. Have a wonderful summer, and we will see you in a few weeks' time. Thank you very much for coming, guys.
Just got a question through there, sir. Bikes. There is a bike shed that will be locked during school times, but you need to bring your own bike lock. So you bring your own bike lock, and you can lock up in the shed, and then the shed will be locked during school time and unlocked when we finish school.
And I can see the question about homework being set as well there, sir. There will be homework set from the outset, but it won't be loads set all at once. We'll kind of phase it in, so it won't. But you won't come home with a lot of homework on your first day. But over the course of that first term, we will build up how much homework you have, and you'll always have a reasonable amount of time to complete it. You won't ever have to hand in work the following day. Right, I think we will call it a day there, Mr. McKinnon. So as I said, Year 6, enjoy your summer, and we will see you on September the 5th. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming. Hope you have a great summer, and I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you in September. Thank you again.